Last year, at our first ever gathering, my vision for this symposium was for us to begin a journey that will raise the level of discourse and understanding about PNG in academia, in business, in government and among ordinary Australians. And today is another step on that journey, a journey that I think is progressing really well. An important gauge for its success so far is that there are already a lot more people attending this year's symposium than last. And of these new participants, I'm particularly pleased to see the representation that we do have from the Parliament of Papua New Guinea itself. Can I say at the outset that I am optimistic about the future of Papua New Guinea? And there are strong grounds for being optimistic. But as recent events have shown in PNG, there are still significant challenges to work through. The PNG Parliament's vote to defer elections by 6 months last week was of course of concern to Australia. We very much respect PNG's sovereignty, but just as events in Australia can have a big impact on the life of people in PNG, with billions of Australian dollars invested in PNG, the stability of PNG's democracy stands to have a huge impact on Australia. At the end of the day, we are the closest of neighbours, and legitimately we have the closest of interests in each other's lives. Our mantra, Australia's mantra, is to give expression to that interest by being the very best friend that we can be to Papua New Guinea. But infinitely more significant than any Australian concern about the Parliament's vote last week was the concern of many Papua New Guineans who made their views known through social media and in public rallies. I've got to say I have never met a Papua New Guinean short of an opinion. And the greatest guarantor of democracy in PNG must surely be the vocal and robust voice of the PNG people. Australia very much welcomes the confirmation of both the PNG Prime Minister, the PNG Electoral Commissioner and indeed the National Executive Committee, the Cabinet of PNG, that elections will go ahead on time in the middle of this year. All of these people, along with so many others in PNG, are working really hard in difficult circumstances to make these elections happen in accordance with the Constitution. We acknowledge and we applaud that. And while we watch again with great interest upon another important day in PNG, for our part, Australia remains committed to providing substantial practical support to enable the elections to be held so that Papua New Guineans can cast their votes. While PNG has clearly been through an extremely testing time lately, I maintain that much of the public reporting on PNG in Australia's mainstream media is both narrow and shallow. Such coverage paints often a one-dimensional portrait of a violent country beset by natural disasters that's heavily reliant on Australian aid. And I fear that that is how too many Australians see PNG. But can I tell you today that in my view, in the Australian government's view, that is a distorted picture. It misses the truly historic changes that are occurring in PNG, changes that will have enormous implications for future generations of Papua New Guineans and for Australia. Because while much of what has occurred in PNG over the last 12 months has of course been the consequence of the unfortunate state of health of Sir Michael Somare, it is just as true to say that these events have occurred in the context of perhaps the most important confluence of events in PNG since independence. For we are witnessing both a generational change in PNG's political leadership at the same time as PNG enjoying the biggest resources boom in its history. This, of course, is why these next elections are so important, and it is why it is so important that they happen on time. That a historic resources boom is happening in PNG resonates with Australia. The Exxon-led PNG project alone will put an estimated $15 billion into the Papua New Guinean economy. In its peak year, some estimate that it could drive PNG's economy to grow by about 15 to 20%. But the PNG economy is by no means a one-trick pony. Several other large projects are underway or under consideration in which Australian companies are playing a prominent role. The PNG economy has in fact recorded 9 consecutive years of real economic growth, and according to IMF forecasts, PNG was the 7th fastest growing economy in the world in 2011. This is a remarkable achievement, particularly given it occurred during one of the largest global financial downturns in history. And it's something that Papua New Guineans should rightly be proud of. As PNG's economy grows, so too does the confidence of our own business community in PNG. The sheer size of the resources boom in PNG means it is at a watershed moment. PNG must make decisions now which will shape the sort of country that it will become 10, 20 and 50 years' time